Welcome to the Rise and Wander podcast, where we'll explore adventure, spirituality, and empowerment through the outdoors and beyond. Join me, Carla Amador, as we focus on topics around the mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional benefits derived through the outdoors. You'll also hear inspiring stories, get educated, and more. Let's get started. This season's podcast is sponsored by Oboz Footwear, based out of Bozeman, Montana. I proudly wear my Oboz footwear for hiking, traveling, and more. They have many styles and options to choose from for all your winter and hiking needs. Looking for hiking boots, recovery shoes, or fast and light hikers? Look no further and check them out at obozfootwear.com. Join me for a year of hiking in 2025 with the 52 Hike Challenge. Commit to your personal journey outdoors alongside a supportive community and make 2025 your year of hiking. Take your family, friends, furry pets on an adventure they'll always cherish. Plus, you'll gain the physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional benefits derived through nature and hiking. Learn more and sign up at www.52hikechallenge.com. And see you on the trails. Welcome to Rise and Wander, all about travel. And in this episode, I have an amazing couple that I met when I was traveling in Mexico. Adam and Karen are joining me from Spain. They are digital nomads. They are incredible people to learn from. They've traveled all around the world. I'm not going to talk too much about them because I want you to hear their story. Let's hit it, guys. Thanks so much for joining me, Adam and Karen. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having us, Carla. Well, yeah, we met back in Playa del Carmen. I remember very well that day. And it was really nice because it was just very serendipitous, right? All of a sudden, just wanted to connect. We started traveling around like 8 years ago. He started pretty much like almost 9 years for you.
Yeah.
And since we started traveling, we've been to about 100 countries now.
About 100. We've been to 100 countries.
Yeah, we just crossed the 100 mark, actually. Yes.
So tell me real quick, what inspired the idea behind travel?
For sure. From my side, it was super simple. I'm from Boston originally, and I kind of couldn't stand it, I guess you could say. I felt bored all the time. There was nothing because I was living in the suburbs around Boston. There was literally nothing going on. And I just remember literally from my side, I would watch birds fly. And I was like, I am so jealous that birds can just go and just fly somewhere and get out to anywhere that they want to be. When I decided one day, I literally just said, I want to work online, because from my side, if I could work online, if I could make cash, I can go travel and do anything that I want. And that's what I did. I literally looked for a way to go work online. And the second that I paid off all my debt, I think like a week after that, I booked the next flight out of Boston, which was to Atlanta. I had no idea where that is, but decided to go there because it was the next flight out. And so it began. I went from Boston, Atlanta, to Vegas, to Costa Rica. And then I just kept going around there until I met this one, Karen. And once we met in Mexico, it was incredible, seriously, because what's cool about her, and she's going to tell you in a second, but the coolest part about her is she always wanted to travel as well, like an absolute addict to travel. So for the two of us to find each other was just perfect, to put it lightly.
And then for me, since I was a kid, every time that somebody asked me, like, what do you want to do when you grow up? I always said, I want to travel. I want to travel. I don't want to be a doctor. I don't want to be anything else. I just want to travel. So for me, when I met him, he told me, like, come with me, so let's start travel the world. And at that time, I had a really good job and I had to just quit and literally take a leap of faith into the unknown.
Her dad was very impressed.
Yeah, because I didn't know if, first of all, our relationship was going to work, because when it's one thing to have a relationship like home, but another layer of difficulty to like travel with the person all over the world. So I didn't know if that was going to work out, but I just took a leap of faith and I just went. The first place that we went together was in Barcelona in Spain, and it was amazing. And since there, we just started traveling, and we travel in a way that it's our way of living. So we don't do vacations. We actually are from one place to the next all the time, like moving with a backpack and a carry-on. And that's it. We never document bags. We never lose that time in immigration, or to wait for bags, or to wait for check-in, and losing all those hours that for us that we take about like 20 to maybe 30 flights in average per year, or even more sometimes, depending on how active we are during that year. It's a lot of time when you start like putting all those hours into checking your bags and just doing that. Yeah, I think it's been an amazing journey since then.
That's incredible. Thank you so much, you guys. And I know you say you've traveled to 100 countries, so obviously we can't go through the list of 100, but why don't you guys just give me some of your top favorite countries that you've been to, and that you're like, if you're interested in traveling, these are some great places to look at.
Absolutely. Yeah. So first thing, if you want to go to Asia, Thailand and Vietnam are king. If you go to Bali, for example, because I know a lot of Instagram people want to go to Bali, get a villa. There's no point going to Bali if you're not going to get a villa. Like, that is a rule 101. It is a totally different experience, totally different vibe between having a villa versus not having a villa. Thailand itself, absolutely outstanding. It is like heaven on earth for sure. Everything from the food, the people, the beaches, the temples, everything about it is just so unique. And then Vietnam is just it's just a fascinating place. And the food, oh my God, they eat out literally breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we're huge food people. So for Asia, I would probably keep those three, and make sure to stop by Singapore. Singapore is outstanding. Oh my God, but Borneo as well. The orangutans, oh my goodness, that's so cool. And what about South America? What would you say?
In South America, I like a lot the Caribbean. In the Caribbean, all of the islands are just pristine. And probably Brazil is good, but it's dangerous a little bit. So just mind that. And the other one that I really like, obviously, is Mexico, just because it's my hometown. And it's just, for me, it's one of the best countries. Yep.
And Colombia. Oh my God, I love Colombia. When you go to Colombia, Cali, Colombia is the best place in Colombia by far. Oh my God, just from my side, just because they do salsa dancing. It's ugly, I gotta say. It's not like, it doesn't have the cool vibe and all that type of stuff. But seriously, when you go and see salsa dancing anywhere in Colombia, and then you go to Cali, it's like a totally different league. Oh my goodness, it is crazy. Yeah, that is a fascinating place. And then Europe, oh my God, just seriously, Europe in the summer. If you go like end of May to like September, anywhere between there, just pick a place on a map, go to Europe, you're gonna have the best time of your life. I guarantee it.
Yeah, like he says, all over Europe is nice. There's no wrong choice in there. And another interesting that we just find, well, that we just recently went, was South Africa. We really enjoy the people in there. People is just amazing. Like, usually, like when you go to a place, like you find out that people are very like open and warm, and like you can talk to people. But in South Africa is like another level. Like, you talk to a person and it's like your best friend already. And it just doesn't happen that way, and that's rare to find, and it's really nice. And I think that's one of the countries that not many people go, and I think it deserves to be known more, like,
for sure,
by people.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I can agree with a lot of what you guys have said so far. I think I've traveled to every place you've mentioned except Borneo and Singapore. But I'll put it on the list because Karen and Adam said to do it. So if anything else comes up, feel free to share as it comes up. But I would love for you guys to share your top travel tips for anyone who wants to start traveling, something like that, whatever you guys feel comfortable with.
Yes. Step one, don't bring luggage. Seriously, just use a carry-on, because it changes the whole dynamics of your travel. So if you bring, like, if you're going to a resort, whatever, bring luggage, right? But if you're actually looking to like travel and hop around and stuff like that, having luggage is a nightmare. The amount of time it takes is crazy from your life.
Especially, for example, if you're going to Europe and you're going to go through different countries, like carrying a massive bag with you is like a super bad idea.
Plus, Ryanair will jack up the price on you. Like it'll literally double your price of every flight. Absolutely.
Something that, for example, me, I use a lot of creams and all of my products for skincare, and you have that restriction that you only have 10 bottles. So what I do is that I have my bag of 10 bottles in one basket, and then 2 layers after all of my other bags, I put another one. So I have 20 or whatever I need. And airlines have never caught up. So, well, not airlines, they don't care, but TSA is the one that cares when you pass through it, and nobody has caught up with that. So that's one that I have never seen share anywhere else.
Are you saying to put one like in your carry-on and one in your personal luggage? That's
what I do or just separate. Like, for example, you have one bag first, just the bag with all the products alone, and then like afterwards the other one inside your bag or whatever you want to place it, but separate. Yeah.
Great. Sure. That's a great tip. And that's what I do. So I think that's fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I would say also
keep them coming. These are
great for sure. I would say another thing is, so if you're crazy like us, we've been to like all the dangerous places as well, like places that you don't want to do. If you are crazy like us, make sure to always have 2 phones. So I have the second cheapest phone on the market, and that's my come steal my phone type of phone. So whenever you go out, especially in the nighttime, like I'll just throw WhatsApp on that and Uber, and that's the only 2 things on that phone. So if somebody takes it, like they're probably going to be like, oh my God, this guy needs money. Like I got to go give him back, and maybe even give him a donation as well. Yeah. Like it's always, and never, ever, I would say, don't ever travel with a debit card. So you can bring your debit card, but make sure to leave that at the house, and always use a credit card, because credit card's not your money. Debit card is your money. So if somebody does steal your card, you don't want them to steal your money. You'd rather have them steal the bank's money. That's because especially in Europe, here they do all the scanners. So there's no like crime, like violent crime. But in Europe, for example, it's just card skimmers and stuff like that. So it's always easier just to, if you're going to lose a card, just call the bank and let them know. That's definitely a key. What's another one from you?
Something that has helped me to organize trips with friends, I have used an app that is called Wanderlog, and that one allows you to share itineraries and share plans and even select the dates and activities that you want to do. So that one is really nice. Or just use Google Maps and you can do your own list, and you just pin the places that you want to go, and you can share it with friends as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And always when you go to places, there's like local places and then tourist places. Okay. So when you go to local places, really try to make an effort to get to know the people. Go out of your way, because when you skim through countries, that's one thing. And that's why we like to spend a lot of time in each place that we go to, because you're like, oh, this is beautiful. But you're looking at like the nature, the architects, that type of stuff. But when you really get to know the people, that's next level, because it's like those moments, like, for example, if you go to South Africa, go to Cape Town, especially if you're on like a short time frame. But if you do go to Johannesburg, use Johannesburg as a base and go out, for example. But what you will see in Johannesburg is that the people there are like literally the nicest people on the planet Earth. And when you go to like other places, for example, like in Mexico, you go to the pueblos, like the little towns and stuff like that, you really get to understand like a feel of the culture, the people, especially if you can speak a little bit of your language. That's super critical. And when you go to like touristy places, my rule is if you see an American, run, because you're in the wrong place, because prices are getting jacked up like crazy. Like, for example, like cruise ship places, like that's the easiest example. So if you're in like a port with a cruise ship, typically cruises unload around 9 a.m. and then they onboard back around 5 p.m. So if you're outside seeing people before 9 a.m., they'll treat you totally differently than after 9. It's like almost not even a joke. It's like a light switch goes off in these people's heads. Like we'll be walking on the beach at 7 o'clock in the morning or whatever, and you say hi to everybody, and like they have all their stuff, but they won't try to sell you anything because it's not work time. And it's the second that minute hits that they know the cruise ship unloads, everybody just turns. It's like you're just a dollar sign now. So definitely make sure, like, even if you're not an early riser, you'll see the difference if you're in a cruise ship place, especially if it's in the morning. It's just a totally different vibe. And that's definitely a big trick I would highly recommend people do.
I love
For
that,
sure.
you guys.
And how about you, Carla? What's a trick that you got? Tell us, teach us.
I have so many, and I've shared a ton in the last couple episodes. But travel tip, yeah, I would have to agree with your first one, which is travel as light as possible. And ever since I went light, it's hard to go backwards. I just went on a trip to visit my family, and I did end up bringing a big luggage, but it didn't matter because it was the same thing. Like, it was going in the car. I normally drive, and this time I actually was going to fly over. I ended up bringing like a bigger carry-on, which was, like I said, fine. But everything you guys said about that, I think, is my top, like, number one tip. And connecting with the culture is really huge. I agree, Adam. Like, if you're going to spend time somewhere, trying to get to know people, going to the local spots where the locals go. There's so many hidden gems. And I love asking locals for their top tips, although you always have to be careful, because I feel like sometimes, depending on who you're asking, they might send you to the place where they're going to get a kickback. So be aware of that. But also, a lot of people have great recommendations. So I love getting a local's perspective. And I think the last one, just to reiterate this, is I always say be open to the miracles. I think, like, meeting you guys was a part of my miracle, because since then we've become longtime friends. I even went to your guys' wedding. It's just been really cool to stay in touch with the two of you. We've been to Mexico multiple times together. It's just been really beautiful. And had I not been open to conversation or being open to experiences and meeting people, I would have never met you guys. And
Absolutely.
so I think that's my other top tip. So I want to
awesome.
talk a little bit about the fact that you guys are digital nomads, and you
Yep.
work from where you guys are traveling to. And that was my journey as well. I've built a business that I could do remotely. I think when I first started traveling, I actually still had my accounting business, which was all remote. And I was doing some consulting, and then I had 52 Hike Challenge, which is also online. And so that helped me to live out this dream. Similar to you, Karen, I had this lifelong dream to travel. And even till this day, every time I travel somewhere, I can go for a month because I just need to bring my computer and schedule my hours to work. And so tell me about, like, some of the things that work for you guys, or anything you've learned being a digital nomad. Give us, like, the scoop on what's great about it and maybe what's not so great, because I want people to know that there are some perks, and obviously there's some cons as well.
Sure. Yeah. So the perks is, I'll say the first thing I would recommend if you are planning to do this is to really understand time and time management. That is without question the most critical thing. Because if you don't have time management, then you basically like vacation working, which you're not getting anything done. And you're basically just useless. There's no other way to put it. So like, you think that you're getting stuff done, but then like when you go back, you're like, oh my God, I got so little done. So it's really all about time management. That is without question the most important thing. So these are my work hours, and that's all that I'm doing during these hours. So the way that we do it is we always work on Eastern time, so New York time zone. So when we go to Europe, you're on second shift. So I'll always work like a few hours early morning, because that's when you're the most creative, right? You get your number one task done for the day, like super early in the morning. The second you wake up, whether that be 6 or 7 a.m., you get it done. And then later on in the day, once Eastern time work opens up, that's once you start doing like the non-urgent type of stuff that you need to do. But you have to block it, right? Like, it's so important to block off and say, these are the work hours, these are not the work hours. And when we go to Asia, we're crazy, but it means the only way to do it is like we go to bed at 6 o'clock in the afternoon and we wake up at 2 a.m. because that way you're at least getting 2 p.m. Eastern time to work. And it's just really having a clear understanding of that time management aspect, because some people, like, for example, like they might have a job where it doesn't require humans or stuff like that, which they're super lucky. I still don't understand how they do it. But for the rest of humanity, when you have meetings and stuff that you have to attend, you always have to remember the time zone that you're in. The positives of working remotely is, especially if you're a US person or a European person, you earn dollars and spend in pesos. So that's really helpful. Or earning euros and spending in pesos. It's really nice because like for us, we'll always schedule stuff out. So maybe 3 or 4 days, it's just like that work. And then we're just walking around and understanding stuff. And then the weekends we're going out and we're really doing as much as we can. So like Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and sometimes Mondays too, we're trying to get as much done as we can in terms of the touristy stuff, which is amazing because it's like other people like, oh, they go to a restaurant with friends or they go do something. Well, we're like riding ATVs or scuba diving in the Gold Coast or whatever it might be. Like we're just doing absolutely ludicrous things every weekend. And for me, that's a very enjoyable experience because it's just, these are experiences that me and Karen get to share together, which I think is the most important thing. And then the cons of it from my side is without question, it's health. If you're doing it long-term, health is without question
the most difficult.
Yeah, by far the biggest downside. It's health in your gut is the first thing because your body's not used to the food that you're going to be eating. So when you stay in places longer, I used to call it my quarterly cleanse. So now I've got a little bit stronger, but every quarter I would have the worst sickness I would ever have in my entire life where you can't walk, you can't move, you can't get out of bed for 2 days. And when you first get it, it's 3 days that you can't move. And it's the worst feeling. And then the other side is if you're constantly moving, you don't have that routine. So there's no real time where you're like, oh, I can build a routine to go to the gym every day at this hours. So it starts falling by the wayside because you just don't have it. So that's the downsides of long-term digital nomads without question. And what would you say, Karen?
I would say continuing with the downsides. Oh, it's isolating sometimes because like you're never connecting 100%. Like you can meet a new people and like sometimes you keep in touch with them. For example, we were able to build up a friendship from there, but it's very rare that happens. So it's isolating. Also, if you work with people, like you're never like physically with them, so that's also a disadvantage. And the third last bad thing is that like you don't have your family and friends close to you, so you detach from those relationships, which are very important. So that's the third. But on the other hand, you're discovering amazing places. You're like trying new cultures and food, and at the end of the day, like your mind expands in ways that you didn't even imagine, because the way that you think that things are, because of the way that they are back where you're from, are completely different to how the things are handled in another place in the world. So that is like the mindset change. And the other
and just to tack onto that, I would totally agree with that. When I first left Boston, I was so high strung. I had no patience. I would work 18-hour days religiously. And when you leave and you start, that's one thing I'm very grateful for when I travel, or now that I've traveled a lot. Like I have patience now. Like I've just learned to really just go with the flow, because when you travel, you think something's going to work out and it never does. I can guarantee it. It just, whatever you think is going to happen, it's just, there's always a problem. But it's just learning to deal with that and just ride along and be able to manage that. And then also the more cultures that you get exposed to, especially in our case, where we've been to 100 countries, you see what you like about certain cultures and what you don't like about certain cultures. And the thing is, like when you're only staying in one place, you have like your friends and family, and then you also have like your neighbors and that type of stuff. And you have that culture that you've learned, that you've been taught, that you've been raised with. And once you start traveling, pretty much a lot of the way that you think is about to get thrown out the window. I can guarantee that, because you just become so used to different stuff. Like oh, I like this here. I like this. Oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. Like that type of a concept.
I do have to make a note right there. So it's not the same traveling for vacation and just going for a few days and not even having a little bit of the culture shock. To like really immerse yourself into the place where you are. Like we, for example, spend like at least 1 to 3 months, depending on how long we can stay in each country. And sometimes we go back. And every time that we go back, it feels so nice to like, if you were back home, even though it's not your home, but it's like you remember that you were there. And it's like this feeling of, it feels really nice when you go back to a place that you enjoyed before.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
Love all of that. And I would like to add 2 cents on everything you guys have said thus far. Definitely, I love that, Karen. Greece is my place where I love it. It's just this place I feel home. I've been there, I think, 4 times now, hopefully
Nice.
going there a fifth time here in the next couple years. But I agree. It's like this sense of, wow, like I'm really immersing myself in something. And that perspective change, I always talk about that in the podcast of how powerful that is, because if we don't see things outside of what we know, we'll never open up to other possibilities. And I feel like I learned so much. And Adam, with everything you said, and I've talked about this, things are not going to go according to plan. And so going with the flow is super key, and being flexible is super, super important. And then I did the digital nomad thing for about a year. I want to say a year and a half, maybe. And for me, I came to the realization that I need more stability. So that led me to make decisions to buy a place in New Mexico. I have a home base, but then I'm still traveling for a month at a time when I travel, and that fills me. That gives me what I need. Like, I love doing micro adventures and going local, and I love traveling 1 or 2 times a year to some new country, and that works for me. So you'll get to know that as you do your adventuring. You just never know until you get out there. So, yeah, either we can continue on the top tips for being a digital
Yeah.
nomad, or I would love to hear your guys' top tips for traveling as a couple. You guys are now married. You've been
Yeah.
traveling together for, did you say 8 years?
Yes.
I know, and I've heard from a lot of people that travel with your partner before you get married, because it's going to tell you a lot. So it's amazing. It's either going to make you or break you. Do you believe that? What do you guys
Oh my
give me your
God.
insight
I
on that?
think I think we were very fortunate because when we met, we were practically kids. We were like 20s. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were able to grow together. So we didn't have firm beliefs, like if certain thing has to be in a certain way. So we were able to interconnect and okay, this is the way you like to do this. So we were able to grow with each other. But that's not the case for everybody. So we have seen a lot of couples that end their travel, especially in very touristic areas where they are like literally fighting to like to the nails. Like it's insane. Like, and that's the person that you love. So I think the first thing that you got to remember is that nothing is going to go the way that you want. And before you start your planning, you have to set expectations of what kind of trip you want to do. So, for example, you want to do a very active trip and go and hit all the places that you have on your list, or you want to have a more chill out experience and take it easy and relax and rest. Like, what kind of trip you're planning? And that way, like, if you have a mismatch, okay, then you can talk about it before you're even there, because that way you can avoid being there and then having a nasty situation where like you have enough with the other person. So yeah, so that would be my first tip.
But we saw some crazy stuff. Like in an airport one time, oh my God, there's a girl just berating her boyfriend or whatever it was in front of the thing. And it's, oh my God, like it would be like breakup level right there. What are we doing together? And then in Tomorrowland, we went to Tomorrowland a few times. And one of the times in Tomorrowland, not even joking, the festival hasn't even started yet. The pre-show hasn't even started yet. And they're just going at each other. And it's, what are you doing, people? But yeah, no, for sure. Traveling makes or break you, because I think in traveling, it can be a lot of high stress, right? So for us, it's just all about, it's literally just going with the flow. Like when I tell you everything is not going to go according to plan, like you just get used to it, especially when you start going to places that aren't necessarily kept, I guess is the way to say it. You go to places where like none of their systems work, nothing works. Like the only thing that talks is money. And you just have to give people money because it's the only way to get anything done. But if you're going into other countries thinking that you're going to have the same experience as if you're going to an American place or Cancun or maybe even Europe, and you're going to not well-maintained countries, you're in for a shock because it's just nothing's going to work.
Karen, I loved the tip that you gave about talking about stuff beforehand, having the expectations. Adam, what would you say is really important in terms of traveling with your partner, or just for other people that want to travel with their spouse? Obviously, there's going to be disagreements, right? Like things are going to come up. if you're not in a healthy relationship and you guys aren't even communicating from the get-go in a way that's healthy, then the travel is just going to heighten that. So
For sure.
I think you guys have incredible communication every time I've seen you, and we've talked much about this with Karen. You guys really don't have these big blowouts because you guys know how to communicate with each other. I admire that. Anything, Adam, that you feel has really been key for you guys?
Yeah, don't ever go to bed angry. It's the easiest thing. Or even if there's something on your mind, you talk about it before you go to bed. Like that is without question the easiest thing. And then obviously that's so important. The fact that so many people like, even if it's something little, right? That's like little things add up over time, right? It's the same as anything. So like very little things can add up. So for example, if I do something that annoys Karen, Karen will tell me and we'll talk about it, right? If Karen does something that annoys me, I'll tell her and we talk about it. I don't let it slide this time and she doesn't let it slide. That is without question like the most important, because if you're not clear or saying, for example, sometimes one of us might sound a little bit stressed at the other person, right? And then the other person says, hey, I don't like the way that you're speaking to me. Is something going on, right? It's those little moments. And it's catching it there in the act as opposed to doing it. It's like a kid's doing something bad. Like you have to discipline the kid then. It's the same thing in the relationship, right? Maybe not discipline in the relationship, but it's about talking about it at that specific moment, right? As opposed to letting it go for a day or 2 days or a week or a year, right? Because it's those little tiny details that add up. And then the second thing I would say is, I love you. I don't know how many times a day we say I love you to each other, but it must be astronomical because it's just so important, right? Just telling the other person how much you love them.
Yeah, I would say that like always, like no matter what the problem you're facing, traveling or like whatever you're doing, like just remember that like before you start like getting all annoyed and explode, just remember who you're talking to and just talk it over. Like the situation is always gonna pass, but at the end you are the important ones.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I love all of that. I think that's really key. So thank you guys for all of your tip and insight. And I want to wrap up here because we're getting close to our time together. You guys have obviously been out in nature and hiked on your travels. Because we are the 52 Hike Challenge and we love getting people outside, can you give me a couple of your top favorite hikes or even places that you've experienced nature on your travels thus far?
For me, one of the first favorite ones was in Chalten in Fitzroy area in Argentina. That was one of the most beautiful things. You need to wake up around 2 a.m. to start the hike, and you go through, and all of a sudden when sunrise starts, all of the rocks are like pinkish orangey and they're just so beautiful. You get to the top of the mountain, it's just like pristine lakes. It's really beautiful.
Absolutely. In South Africa, in Johannesburg, outside of there's an area called Drakensberg Mountains. Oh my goodness, yes. What an experience that is. Seriously, you go there, you just feel like you're on a screensaver. Truly. Another one is if you go to Switzerland, I don't know the place, but if you go around, just anywhere around Bern, Bern, if you go anywhere around there, you're going to have the most beautiful views that you've ever experienced. And the hiking there is fantastic in every way, shape, and form.
Another one that it wasn't a hike per se, but most stunning nature that I have seen is Antarctica. We did a cruise there and it was amazing.
That's where I proposed to her.
Yeah, the cruises go out from Buenos Aires, Argentina. And you need to have ski gear just in case it's very cold. Go prepared because we were very lucky because we didn't have any of the Drake shake, which is like very high waves, like up to what height?
Go up to 30 meters.
30 meters high. I don't know what's in feet, but it's very...
No, 90 feet.
90 feet. It's insane. The whole cabins of everything shakes. It's insane. We were very lucky we didn't experience that, but it's like a 50% of chances that you're going to have it, but it's totally worth it.
Machu Picchu as well. Oh my goodness. What an experience Machu Picchu is. Seriously. But the thing is, you have to be up there before everybody else. Yeah. So that is key. So if you have two choices, you can either hike, which you get like basically 10 minutes before everybody else, which honestly, seriously worth it. Or the other option is you take the bus. If you take the bus, be the first person on the bus. So however early you think you need to wake up, you need to wake up significantly earlier, and then you have to wake up significantly earlier than that. Like literally like
5 a.m. or something.
Or
It's
even
insane
earlier,
because,
seriously.
Like, at 4 or 5 a.m. it's already a massive line.
Yeah,
just
the
to go
lines
into
are
the
down
bus.
the block. It's psychotic.
And pound cocoa leaves because the high altitude is insane. And so nobody wants to feel bad.
For
right?
sure. And in Africa too, I would say out of all the hikes in the world, okay, this is for the 52 hikes, go to Uganda and do the gorilla trekking.
Yeah.
That is insane, okay? Because here's the thing, all the other hikes.
It's a hard hike.
Very hard.
Very hard.
All the other hikes, okay, so there's 2 ways to do gorillas. You can go through Rwanda, but like the thing is sometimes the gorillas are in like the fields, like the paddies and stuff like that.
It's like if you're seeing them in a zoo.
Yeah, so like you're gonna pay $1,500 to basically go see a gorilla sitting in a cornfield, right? Come on, that's not worth it. But if you go to Uganda, you get to pay half price and you get to go trekking through the jungle, okay? So it's beautiful because you're in the jungle, like deep in the jungle, but then you have gorillas.
And their natural habitat.
It's crazy.
That's
that is one of the
guys.
coolest hikes for sure.
I want to do that.
It's been
That's
one
on
of
my
the
bucket
experiences.
list. And Antarctica.
Totally.
Oh,
Totally.
I was surprised you guys didn't say Peru when we were talking about favorite countries, because I think Chile and Peru so far in South America, I'm like so amazing. And Nicaragua, Nicaragua, right?
Nicaragua was
That
a
place
shock
is
to me.
very
Yes, it's
cool.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Peru,
I can tell
I
you
love,
like
and I agree
50
with
of
you
my
all.
favorites.
Yeah, I know, it's so hard.
Like, if
It's
we
so
do the
hard.
list, if we do the list of which ones are your favorites, there's so many because every country that you go, it has a little space that it just takes a piece of your heart.
For sure. Like to me, out of Central America, like Nicaragua was my favorite.
Me
it's
too.
not even a question. Like Nicaragua is
It
just next
deserves
level.
better marketing, more like
It has a
more
lot
so
to
than
offer.
Costa Rica. Yes.
Costa Rica has fantastic branding.
Yeah.
But whatever you think of Costa Rica based on their branding, it's actually Nicaragua. It's not even joking.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Nicaragua's up there.
Mhm.
And yeah, no, we love it. And then in El Salvador, we were just talking about it,
Yeah.
going to the lake
Yeah.
there. What's the name
Yes.
of the lake?
I think it's
love the
Lago
fact-
Coatepeque. I think
Coatepeque,
Lago
that one.
Coatepeque.
We love the
Fantastic.
fact that we felt so safe this time. We just went recently, like probably a year ago we went. No, less than last year, like in end of last year we went. And it was amazing the fact like we were able to walk everywhere. Like we didn't feel like unsafe at any level. Like we were out at any time of the day, night, and everywhere. And it was really nice. And we talked with people and they were feeling grateful that they were able to walk to any place, women and men. So that was really nice to see.
Yeah, go the president or dictator, whatever he is. That dude is amazing.
I'll be going out there, so maybe I'll do a recap of nature, hiking, all the outdoors things, El Salvador, because I'm Salvadorian, y'all. Okay, you guys, I loved talking to you all, and I just would love any final closing thoughts. I just want to say thank you for giving us your wisdom. I know people who want to travel with their partner, maybe want to experience digital nomad life or even traveling indefinitely, are really going to find a lot of value in this conversation. The tips you gave, your feedback, I really appreciate that. Do you guys have any closing thoughts or anything that you feel you want to share that you didn't get to share earlier today, or anything else?
For me, what I would say is be open to try everything at least once, just because you don't know, like it doesn't matter if you don't like it or not, like it's just for the moment, it's just for the experience, and you might never even do it again. And like you later on, you're gonna have a story that you once tried something in Papua New Guinea and everybody else laugh about you. And that's so great. It's just be open, even if you, for example, many people get afraid from spicy food or whatever. Doesn't matter if it's gonna make you feel bad, like it's just part of the experience.
Like insects, I love insects. I can eat crickets all day now. I am obsessed. Oh my god, they're addicting. That is so true though. Trying everything at least once, that's my motto. I literally do everything, as long as it's not like, if it's risky, I'll do it. If it's like in imminent death, I won't do it, obviously. But like as long as it's like 99 maybe even 90% safe. Okay. Like I'll do it. Or even like when we go to the crazy things, like we went to the second deadliest, what was it called? Favela in Brazil in the nighttime. But we went with somebody who knew the area. Yeah. I do not encourage you to do that. That was really scary.
On a side note there, so the more that you travel and the more that you're experiencing these type of places, you're going to become more, not open, but more aware of your surroundings just by nature. You're going to feel more comfortable in special situations. I wouldn't say dangerous because nobody wants to be in dangerous situations, but like your comprehension of danger is going to change because you're going to pass from what you perceive as dangerous right now to like what in other places it is and what is real danger.
And that's cool because it just gives you like those instincts and stuff like that. But what I will say is the most important thing is that if you're not doing 52 hikes every single year, then what's the point? What are you doing here? Get up, people, get out of bed, do 52 hikes a year.
52 hikes and go travel and see the world, see nature outside of your comfort zone. And my last closing thought on this, you guys, is thank you so much. And it's just that closing thing. Follow your intuition. I think our intuition always will tell us if something is scary and unsafe, truly. Like, listen, I think you guys probably have really good intuition and follow your gut in a lot of circumstances. And like you said, there's a lot of things that media puts out there and it's not safe to travel here. It's not. And you really, once you start researching and you get the actual information, you realize it's just not getting yourself into the situations that are going to cause these types of situations. Correct. So use common sense, do your research, follow your gut, and don't forget to make amazing friends like Adam and Karen when you're out there. Thank you guys so much for being on the show. And everyone else, we'll see you in the next episode. Don't forget to share, subscribe. Thanks so much, you guys.